Stone Temple Pilots. 11:18, and welcome to the Mornings with Ed show on the all-new Voice of Laguna. It's 11-ish when we talk to Dr. Anita Wang. She has clients in the morning, normally around this time, and they keep gabbing with you, I'm sure.
We got interesting stuff going on. Interesting conversations.
All right, okay. Well, welcome. As we do each and every Monday right around this time, we're delighted to welcome Dr. Anita Wang in for a conversation about everything medical. Today, we're covering stress, sugar, the gut, weight, and she's going to reveal, without revealing the names of these patients, so a couple of patient stories as well. So good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great. It's a beautiful day.
Oh, it's fantastic.
We're just so lucky here. I feel for the other ones there, but like my son and my brother, they love the cold, so they're enjoying it, I guess.
They don't. I'm sure that. Your son's in Michigan.
And one in Boston.
Does he have to shovel any snow?
No, he says actually the roads are pretty clear, things are clear.
Right.
Doing really well there.
And a side question here. You're wearing red, and I commented on, you look great in red. I rarely see you in red. Do colors that you wear make you feel better?
It's funny because that's typically how I go through my color of what I'm going to wear today.
Right.
I'm in a black mood today, so that's just like, I wear black, I wear blue. So, but red I usually say, I realize that I save red for, it's going to be a Chinese New Year soon, so red, it's a power color, it's festive, it's the holidays, it's also February, Valentine's Day, so, red came up, and I thought, I haven't been wearing my red because they saved it so much.
Right.
So I used to be one of those, where the shoppers, where you go shopping and you buy a thing, buy something, and then you go to somebody's closet, and their closet's full of brand new clothes with all the tags still on them, because they're saving it for that special day. Well, I'm alive now.
Yeah.
So today is
Why
the day.
save it?
No more saving. Gonna wear it.
I noticed you got the matching purse and everything. So
gonna wear the red. Live it up. Right?
And maybe even throughout the entire month, since the entire month. When is Chinese New Year, by the way?
I don't know. I think it's right around the 21st, 22nd, something like that.
Doesn't fall
February.
on the same day every year?
No, it's by the lunar calendar.
Okay.
So it's around the end of this month. Right?
And then what typical celebrations do you do?
Actually my aunt is a very good artist, and she does some calligraphy at the Huntington Library up in Pasadena.
Right.
So every year she's doing the Chinese celebration for the Huntington Library. They actually took one of her paintings and carved it into a door at the Huntington Library. So you can see the wooden door and the I don't know which garden it is, in the Japanese, Asian, whatever garden. The doors are actually of her painting. Carved out.
Very cool.
And then she'll do calligraphy. She teaches art. She's a very good artist. And then we'll do a big family celebration. So sorry to Doug, I had a race to do that day, sailing race, but now I'm going to do a family commitment. So
are you artistically inclined in any way?
I would not say. I dabble. I think that side of you have to practice it and train it and use it and develop it. And I think I'm overdeveloped now on the other analytical side that I've been using it. So my creative side has gone dead. But I love doing portraits. I love playing the piano. I used to play a lot of different instruments just for fun. But I kind of haven't done that. So now I try to pick it up every now and then just to kind of keep that flowing.
All right. Okay. I'm going to have you play a little piano a little later on. I have that kid's piano that I brought into the studio. But I'm wasting more time on that thing than I am, and my drums here that I am.
Oh yes, so I got my djembe. I got my djembe drums. I like to do my drums. We should. You don't want me playing though.
It's therapeutic. It really is. Whether you can play or not, it is kind of this cool therapy here.
It is.
Well, welcome again. So we're talking stress, sugar, the gut, and weight, and you've got two patient stories with one root cause.
Yeah, people, they come in and they're worried about their weight and they're worried about their diet, or not so worried. They know they're overindulging in their sugars. Right. So, these two were easy because they said their fix is the sugars, right? And then, because this is February, so they had the holidays, they ate more, and then one has a lot of stress. But I think they don't. The one lady didn't understand is that the stress that she's having, and the sugar that she eats, and that she says she has to eat some protein because her blood sugar's drops. Well, it's because she does have too much. We did a spit test, and then she's got too much. It shows that she's got candida, most likely.
Right.
So when you have an off-balanced gut, and she's talking about the cravings, and she just can't stop those cravings, it's because it's driven by the unbalanced gut. So it's not about willpower. It's about balancing the health. And then because she's all stressed, the mind. So I have the ExoMind, which is a kind of, I call it the, I don't know, it should be brain massage or mind massage, right? It massages the brain to reconnect, and then to your mind to calm down, your body to calm down, and then you don't get those spikes. So she can't think clearly. She can't make good decisions because the cortisols are saying feed the brain, and then you feed the brain the sugar, and you get the dopamine hit, and you feel, I feel good. It's just like in a rush with the cocaine. It's the same areas of the brain that lights up when you get
when you do a little blow. Right.
Yeah. So then she can't make the decisions. But with the ExoMind, it will actually, she can, instead of react, she can pause, think, and say, do I really need to eat this full container of pretzel, cookies, right? And just maybe have one bite, or maybe skip it, or do something else, and then balance things out. And then once we balance everything out, the whole thing is about maintaining blood sugar. You should be able to maintain your blood sugar. Those people who are bonks, I mean, usually a bonk is more in athletes who are spent everything out. Right. But if you're not spending anything and you have a bonk, that's just your sugars going out of whack because you are your microbiome, you're not feeding the right things. Right?
Does fruit affect you the same way as candy and the sugars within fruit?
It can. I mean, fructose, well, there are people who don't metabolize fructose. So those people really have an issue. And yes, you can overindulge in fruit too. So that, yeah.
And I think to myself sometimes throughout the course of the day, wow, I've just had too much fruit.
It can happen.
I don't feel it changing me in any way. I don't feel.
Well, you might be balanced. I mean, because it does have fiber in it. It depends on what glycemic index it is. It depends on your movement. It depends how you're utilizing it. But it's a better choice than having corn syrup or high fructose syrup. Those things, because you're going to have a really big. So it depends on if you eat those fruit and whether or not you get a sugar spike. So if your sugar doesn't spike over 140, then you're metabolizing it. So that would be to wear the continuous glucose monitor, and then when you had one of those days and you ate it, and then to see. So if your sugar spiked to over 140, then yes, that was too much fruit. If it didn't, your body is working, metabolizing, doing well.
And you mentioned a spit test a few minutes ago. That's actually saliva. You're spitting into a cup, and then you're analyzing the cup. Does the most recent thing you ate have something to do with it? Should you do you have to fast before a spit test? I think is what I'm asking, because sometimes in your saliva you would have.
So you should just give this a try. You just get up in the morning before you brush your teeth, before you do anything. You take a clear glass and you put some water in there, and then you spit on it. And if your spit floats at the top, you're good. If it's all cloudy, sinks to the bottom, it's going to be more likely no. We need to do some work.
Thank you for that. You mentioned ExoMind, and I've been fascinated by the science behind it, and it helps regulate the neural circuits that are involved in all of the things that we worry about, binging and impulse control, as well as eating out of emotion. Some people get bad news and they immediately go to eat. ExoMind can
calm that down. That definitely can calm down. I mean, the machine itself is new, but the technology is old. It's 40 years old. So there's 16,000 studies on this, right? But it was a hidden gem. Only psychiatrists were using it. And it was cumbersome because it was over the whole brain. And it was still, there's two protocols on the ExoMind. So there's usually for treatment failures on medication. And so this is cleared for depression. But they found that so many people were feeling just well they do another protocol just for wellness. And so that is, so, if you're executive or you're just someone who's just high stress, just go, 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 and you can't, and you're more reactive, or you're a fighter and you just like go, but you're starting to feel tired and exhausted, that is just a burnout waiting to happen, right? So you're just starting a flame, a strong flame that is starting to fizzle out. Well, you don't want to be that reactive person and go, 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 and be running ahead of the panther, and the panther be a million miles behind you, but now that's on your heel. Well, that's when you're going to need the extra mind, because you want to be able to open up the synapses, have the brain calmer, make out decisions. You see a problem and you have a decision. So sometimes you just can't make a decision, you're just going to react. Oh, that's bad news. And you react and have a cookie, right? So you would rather, oh, that's bad news. And you go, well, how bad was it? Was it life-changing? Is it going to kill me? Is it what? You start to actually can think and be calmer, right? And say, well, that wasn't that bad, right? And make a decision. I don't really need to binge on these cookies right now. So you just have some more emotional control, and then you think, well, I'm doing okay, and a little self-perception. So it helps you focus, helps you make the decision. So I think that really for executives, this is a game changer for this, because I used to see all of these executives in the ER coming out stressed out and telling me, you don't know what stress is. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I got a guy dying over there, a baby can't breathe. And I'm like, I don't know what stress is, but I know that deadline that you got is really important.
That's good. That's classic.
I know. And they would just be wigged out. But and so now, we have a tool for that. I have a couple of tools for that.
I had a question from a high school student the other day. On Friday, about 300 plus high school students.
Oh, yes.
They met them here, and they were all on Main. A couple of them were here in front of the studio throughout that demonstration. And one of them, she said that when she's able to, she listens to this segment. Sometimes it's during your lunch hour, sometimes it's driving.
If we were on time, maybe.
Yeah. Sorry we're a little late today. But she says that she does well in school, but sometimes before a test, she gets a little stressed out. So I thought to myself, I didn't say anything to her, I didn't recommend anything, I thought to myself, I wonder if the extra mind would help that.
Oh yeah, that can definitely help, but I think more of the gamma core would be the thing. The gamma core is, because that's going to be situational. The other one's going to be more long term, and it's going to be where the gamma core, where it stimulates the vagus nerve. So they give them propranolol, which is to slow the heart rate down. So if you are doing meditation and breathing and all of those things, that's going to be slowing your breathing, slowing your heart rate down, and that stimulates the parasympathetic, the vagus nerve, and calms the gut, so you don't get the butterflies, you don't get the diarrhea, you don't get the runs before you, and you just feel a little bit calmer. So that would be more of a vagus nerve. So there are going to be different stimuli for that. So they both work in synergistically. So the brain needs to be calm, and the body needs to be calm. Right? So that is going to be more her. I would think that her neurons and synapses are just not fully developed at that age. So yes, they're going to have a little bit. We can't overdevelop it with the X-mind, and say, oh, hurry up, reconnect. So we don't need to reconnect. Those are just not developed because they need to develop fully at that age. And then mainly it's just to calm the body. And they would need more of the vagus nerve stimulation, because the executive decision and that figuring those things out, just not quite there. But if you're well into your 30s, those executive functionings are there. And if you have a hard time making decisions, or you can't control your impulses, or you're just flying off the handle, all of that, then that's where we need to put the brain, we need to put it back in order and get it functioning at its highest level. So that's just a young, not fully developed brain. and then the body just needs to be able to function better, calmer, and so there's tools for that.
When you said that the ExoMind technology has been around for 40 years, they've been using it before you came around with this magnificent wellness facility. I should mention to the audience right now, it literally is the best wellness facility anywhere on the West Coast. Not just because you have an expert and scientist here running it, but because of the incredible tools that you utilize.
Yes.
So the ExoMind, the technology for it, 40 years old, they were using it for depression and things like that. Yeah.
Yes, for treatment. So psychiatrists.
Okay.
So they were. It's not. What you think of the frontal lobe lobotomy. It's
Right.
not the shock therapy. It's not any of that. It was just for cognition. So to help people with the depression, major depressions, to get them just, basically snap out of it.
Right.
What was that? Right? So it was more that, and so.
That was Cher in a movie.
Yes,
that said
yes.
That, right? Yeah.
So, so it's just was that. So you give medication, right? So you take these SSRIs, all of these different things. Especially women were given more of it because when the hormones were going wild, right, during menopause, they're having anxiety, they're having depression, postmenopausal, your hormones are going wild. And so what they were giving are these medications that would alter your brain chemistry. So benzodiazepines to make you calmer, SRIs just to make help the serotonins and all of this. So they're playing with the neurotransmitters that are running through the brain. And so when you have brain chemistry that's off balance, and you have seen those people, they're either a little tweaking too much, or they're way too depressed, or they have dull affect, or whatever it is. They're just that their emotions are not what you would have if I told you a joke, and then somebody who was flat would just be, they would, not have a big response, or somebody who was too much, they'd be like, it'd just be, over dramatic, right? So that's their chemistry in our brain, is managing those things. So the psychiatrist would be giving medications to help regulate them. And when the medications weren't working, they didn't know there wasn't anything else to do. So that this transcranial therapy was what they would use. And those were at those times were electrical, but it wasn't electric shock. Just impulses to help stimulate the brain to produce better neurotransmitters. So what this company did is take only one track. So you're not wearing this big thing and wearing the whole head. It's basically just the front, the prefrontal, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which is emotional control, executive functioning, cognition, memory. So all the things that we want to stay and keep well. I want my memory to be sharp. I want my cognition and my thinking and my thought process to be sharp. I want to be able to make clear decisions, maybe be able to go through analytically to make all those decisions, come to the right decision, make the right choices, and that comes all over, whether to eat the right food, whether to go exercise, whether to go see a movie, whether or not to run the red light, all these things, right? And then that's going to make your emotions. So when somebody gives you a trigger, are you going to fly off the handle? Or are you just going to say, or are you going to eat a dozen cookies? Or are you going to say, okay, well, that wasn't great, but it's not going to affect me. So it just, all of those things, just to improve that, because that, as part of aging, diminishes. And then stress diminishes it. So we want to boost it back up. And so that's what it's all about.
When there's a yellow light, I speed up. I'm like, oh, it's not red, I'm going. Boom. I speed up a little bit. So let's talk about patient number 2. We're talking vacation, holidays, inflammation, as well as joint pain.
Yeah. Well, for her, it was really interesting because I gave her, a way to eat, a lifestyle to start. And so when she does that, she's golden. She lost like 18 pounds, whatever. And then, I'm like a gym. If you come in, you're going to get more tweaks and more, coaching.
Right.
If you don't come in, the last thing I told you is the thing that you're working on, and I don't know what's going on with you. So I gave her this idea of what this plan. So she was doing that. But then when she went to Hawaii, she decided not to eat that way. All right, so, but she said, so she had a lot of sugar. She loves desserts, so more desserts. So she loves the the cocktails, and so was having more of those. But she said she was moving around more because she was in Hawaii, right? So it kind of, so she said, I didn't really gain anything, but then the holidays came and it just piled on because she said, well, now I'm going to go back to the way you told me to eat. I'm like, well, you were never supposed to stop that way, right? That's a lifestyle change. So it's not like we work on a lifestyle and a plan, and then you decide, okay, now I'm going to do a different lifestyle. Right. It's not that way.
I'm going to set aside my lifestyle for a month and then come back to it.
Right. No, those are the yo-yo diets, right? So that's the mentality. And I was like, okay, no. There's fixes. So if you're not going to do the lifestyle 100%, then there are things that we do during those things to make sure to maintain. I'm not going to give away all my trade secrets. You got to come in and get the coaching.
But you in effect changed her mindset.
Yes. So right there, so she's like, oh. So she realized that we're gonna go back to the way that we set up, because she said she enjoyed that. And then I gave her some tips. So I said, because nobody eats perfectly all the time. I mean, literally. I mean, you guys all know. I mean, I binge on sugar every now and then. I'm not perfect. I should be like some of my patients. My patients are really awesome. I actually use them to motivate me. I have this one lady, she is motivated. Every time I tell her, okay, we're going to have you lose 2 pounds, and the next time I see you in 2 weeks or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I got to do that too. I would put those goals for myself. Whatever goals I put for my patients, I like apply it to myself, because they work harder than I do. They actually do much better than I do. But I was doing my plan, but I decided to binge because I don't remember why, some heavy work week for some reason, and then I just didn't get a chance to eat right, and then I decided, there's things of, and my husband is actually a sugarholic, so it's really bad. So we got it all up there, but he will go through it, and I will have never had a piece. So I will have to say, okay, this is mine.
I'm going to set this aside for me.
And then I would stay there for the year, and I would take so I had that in there, and I said, this is a good time to just go through that. So I had a whole little container of gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. I don't know how many there are in there. They were pretty thin, wafer thin. I ate the whole container. I was like, no guilt, no shame, because I knew the next day my plan was I was going to utilize those calories, and I was going to do that. But then life got it in the way. So I didn't get to do 100% of what I needed to do. So I'm on it today. Okay. Well, so today is happening for sure. And then, there's going to be bloating. There's going to be increase of weight now. And I know that that's temporary because it's what I did. And so now I'm just going to burn that off, right? So for her, she didn't know the tricks of what to do. She just was, on the good lifestyle and then back to her old ways. It's not that way. You have to incorporate it all and know all the tricks. The other lady, because she came up and the one that was motivating me to do better, she actually would come in weekly until she understood the whole lifestyle change and plan, and then we would plan things out. So like, okay, next week I'm going to this vacation in the wherever, and then I would say, okay, let's plan it. So you're going to have more alcohol, and then we would make some adjustments and tweaks and plan on how we would do that. And then, I have this event that I have to go to, but I said, can you not eat on that event? Oh no, they have really good food. Okay, well, let's plan to eat this and not the, and then, so we actually went step by step for each thing, and now she knows how to make those adjustments. And she's so ecstatic because she's losing the weight and not doing the yo-yo thing, and keeps losing more and more. But for each person, it's different. I can't tell each person that it's going to be a different tweak based on their genetics and based what's going on in their metabolism.
My big cheat, and I've been disciplined before in my life about what I eat. I'm not a big sugar fan, or I don't eat a lot of sweets, other than fruit. but it's red meat. So I went through this phase where I grew up in a household, red meat every day. We were just red meat eaters. And I knew that that's not a healthy lifestyle, so I cut it down to once a week. I can have it once a week as a treat. And then my cheat, if I do it more than that, which I do on occasion, the way that I make my mind think it's okay is I lessen the portion. And so I'll have a really nice steak that first night, the legal time to eat it that week. But if I have a second steak within a week, I lessen the portion. I'll cut it in half or whatever. That's the way that I think it's okay in my head. And it's probably not. So I'm cheating myself, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, so what's wrong with red meat? I don't think there's a thing with red meat. Okay?
Isn't it worse for your heart than, for instance, salmon or other proteins?
No, okay. First of all, it's saturated fats. Okay, so macadamia nuts have saturated fats, right? So nobody's going to say that macadamias are really bad for you, right?
Isn't it an artery clogger?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I think it depends on your genetics. If you can't, we need saturated fat. So if you don't have butter or ghee or any of that, right? So if that, you're going to get some. Now, if you eat a lot of saturated fats and you have a genetic
predisposition,
right? Then yes, it certainly can be. And if you don't move and you don't eat other things, then yes. But I don't think in and of itself is the artery clogger. It's got to be put together with everything else. So you could be depriving yourself for no reason.
Right.
Okay? So if you don't have the predisposition, you metabolize saturated fats well, you don't overeat saturated fats, then red meat is not the issue. As I told you, it's your bread. That's your issue.
Bread and potatoes, buddy. Yeah.
It's your bread that is your issue that I would be more concerned about, because as I said before, both fruit, vegetables, red meat, animal protein, and the wheat, the grains, they all get metabolized. When they all get metabolized, they create this metabolite, TMA, right? And then that metabolite gets oxidized. And that oxidized TMAO is what causes that clotting artery stuff, right? So fruits and vegetables have the least. Wheat has the most. Saturated fats second. So for you, don't mix your saturated fats with your breads.
Right. So don't have a steak sandwich is what you're saying. Don't do the steak sandwich, buddy. Which, by the way, I think right now I'm now hankering for a steak. Maybe I don't know. You remind your patients that longevity is not about a number on the scale, and no words could be more important than that. To live a longer life, it's not about the number on the scale. It's about being able to get off that floor without using your hands.
Yeah, have you been practicing that?
I have, actually, yes.
You can do it now with your hip, right?
I can do it with my hip, but I screwed up my knee. So I traded one for the other, I think. No, but yeah, so I have been doing it.
Yeah, you got to keep that core strength.
Right.
You have to keep the flexibility, and then what's more important is your biological age, right? So it doesn't matter how many birthdays you have, right? It's how young you feel, it's your mental attitude, it's the way you think, the way you feel, and just how you live life. You just got to be happy, right? And enjoy it all.
Tell us the Vitality membership, what that includes.
So the Vitality membership includes everything it includes the medical gym, it includes wellness visits, so you can use all the different devices. So I have a few, but ExoMind right now is extra. But so you can get the Amsella, which is for the pelvic floor, so you have a good stabilization of the pelvis, so that you have good gait. Also, all for the urinary tract so you don't have the incontinence. Then you have the Sculpt Neo, which is going to help with pain relief, and also building up the muscles. And then Exilus, which is for skin tightening and cartilage, collagen boosting. And so you're just going to be able to use all of that, and then you can also use your points for a wellness visit, so we can analyze. Still, you're going to have to pay extra for your lab testing, your supplements, things like that.
Right.
But with all that you can do, because we're going to get you going. I mean, I have who is she? So I have a lady that's coming in that she's having knee pain also, and the physical therapist says that her glute wasn't activating, so we've been activating the glute muscle so that she can walk better.
Right.
Knees getting better. I have another lady, same thing, elderly lady. She says that she was walking with a cane. She's now walking without the cane. So, and then her physical therapist says that she's getting better and stronger. So this doesn't replace anything. It's just it's a better adjunct tool for you to live and have a better quality of life. And so this is just a gym membership, but it's a medical, so that when you go to your gym, so it's not going to be, because it's going to be, it could be expensive. People who can have a gym membership and a medical gym membership, have a personal coaching, a trainer. So it's got to be the right fit, but it's going to extend. And then I do try to work with people's budgets, because I wanted to help everyone. So maybe you can't do the whole thing. I'm gonna work with you. You're gonna tell me your budget. I'm gonna make a plan for you that we can work something out, because I really am here to make people have a better quality of life at the end.
And those that have visited you, that I know for a fact, I know in person, they absolutely benefited from visiting you. So I can't say more about it. How do we find you?
You can text me or leave a message or voicemail at 949-734-0580, and you can have a complimentary discovery call, and we can chat, figure out if we can work well with each other at ANITAWANGMD.com. Shoot me a message, or just go on to Get Started, or click whatever the schedule, the free phone consultation discovery call.
It is the best wellness facility, and directly in front of me is the best wellness facilitator. That's real wellness. It's about longevity, it's about vitality. As always, Dr. Wang, thank you so very much for spending time with us today. I'll look forward to next week.
Yes.
All right. 11:50 the time, 10 minutes shy of the noon hour.